Today we're going to be making a tuna pica or tuna picadillo. It's one of my favorite recipes from one of my favorite restaurants here. Not going to tell you which one, but we're going to make it today and hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. We have 10 ingredients making the tuna pica today. Of course, we have our tuna, our currants, we have our chives, our Spanish olives, our garlic, our toasted almonds, our coconut, our ginger root, some soy sauce, low sodium, and our wonton crackers. So the first step is to make the pica dressing. Now with our ginger root here, you're going to probably want about a tablespoon. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop off about a tablespoon, 3/4 to 3/4 to 1 tablespoon. Figure that would be a nice little chunk right there. So you're going to want to peel the ginger root. So we get, ourselves a potato peeler here. The last pieces we can probably take off. We can take off with a knife. But you can get a bunch of these pieces off. Like that. Chop off the little excess skin that you got on the sides. And boom, you have one nice piece of ginger there. That's pretty much all we're going to need. Start slicing it into strips. And if you have nice fresh ginger, it should do really nicely. And then take them all and you do them this way. Watch your fingers, of course. Be very careful, okay? And we're going to finish up the ginger. So as you can see, I'm grating the ginger very fine. Alright, now that we're done mincing our ginger, we're going to take that ginger. It'll be about, 3/4 to a tablespoon. It depends on everybody's preference. I'm going to put it in this little cup, because this cup we're going to mix all our ingredients for the dressing. Now once we do that, since we already have, thank God, our garlic already done, we're going to put about the same amount of garlic in there that we did, about a tablespoon. Right like that. Beautiful. And lastly, we're going to add our soy sauce. Just cover it up pretty good. This is a 3-ounce cup, so you're not going to use all 3 ounces, but it'll still make a great marinade, and you can use it for other things besides. Now that's going to be delicious. Let's take a smell. You couldn't see that, but here we go. Oh, that's delicious right there. That's our tuna pica dressing. You want to try to let that marinate for 24 hours if you can, but we're not going to do that today. Now we're going to start working on our fish. First thing you want to do is you want to cut the tuna into little blocks, just like this. And that basically is how, you want your tuna. So let's get our little bowl here. That's going to be our main bowl for everything. Beautiful piece of A1 tuna here. And you're just going to want to cut it into little thin, for now, thin strips, just like that. Okay, and once you get the thin strip, cut it that way. Again, cut it like that. And then turn it this way and cut it into small little cubes. And do that with the entire fish. Okay, and eventually what you'll have is a bowl full of that. Okay, so just, be careful, watch your fingers, use a sharp knife. Okay, bam. Little tuna, curl the fingers in so you don't have your fingers sticking out here. And eventually, after all is said and done, that is what your tuna should look like. Now the almond mix consists of toasted almonds. We're going to crush them a little bit. Not a powder, but little pieces. We're also going to use coconut, unsweetened. And lastly, we're going to use currants. Don't use raisins. Try to use currants if you can find them. They can be found in any grocery store. And they're a little small, much smaller and much sweeter than a regular raisin. Now for the almond mix, we have the toasted almonds, we have our currants, and our coconut. Now what we want to do is pretty much want to have the same amount, about 2 ounces maybe of currants and 2 ounces of toasted almonds. What we're going to do is, I don't have a mortar and pestle. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to crush the almonds a little bit. You don't want to get them to a powder, and then you can use the back of a spoon. You just want to get them into little tiny little pieces, because the crunch, this crunch along with the wonton crunches are going to be out of this world. The texture, the combination of the crunch with the fish and the soft everything. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to add this once we've got it a little fine and ground here. We're going to add that to our currants, and then we're going to add half of this, about 3 to 4 ounces of the coconut here. Let's just throw it in. Okay. Once we finish with our currants and our toasted almonds, I'm going to add about half the container here of the coconut. That's probably about right. That looks pretty good. And then you're just going to mix it all up. And that's going to be our almond, currant, and coconut mixture. Okay, and that's how we're going to use that. Okay, so next what we want is, we have some olives. These are green Spanish olives with the pimentos. Basically what you want to do is you want to take the pimentos out. I haven't tried leaving the pimento in. I'm sure it's not a problem. I'm sure that's okay. I'm sure it will still taste delicious and wonderful. But for our purposes, we're going to get rid of the pimento. So we're going to do about 2 tablespoons of the Spanish olives. So we have the tuna. We're going to add our olives and our chives. And then we're going to add the almond mix. So basically you just want to chop it fine, just like you did before with the ginger. Again, watch your fingers. You don't want to cut yourself here. Okay. And lastly, nice. Chop them fine if you can. Just mince them very fine. Now that you've finally sliced the olives, I'm going to take a couple tablespoons or just the 3 olives and throw them in our tuna mix. Alrighty, that's looking good. Alright, next thing we're going to do is a tablespoon of chive or green onion. That's pretty good, right there. And again, we're just going to chop them up, mince them as fine as we can, and we're going to throw them into our bowl. These aren't too difficult to do. And you just want to mince them as fine as you can. And once your chives are all chopped and minced, throw them in your bowl. Okay, so now that we added our tuna, our olives, and our chives, we're going to put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the almond mix, just depending on how you like it. Oh God, that's going to be so good. Okay, that looks good. Basically what you want to do is you just want to mix that all together. Mix that up really good. Get it all nice and mixed with the tuna. Oh man. Okay, and last but not least, it's time for our dressing. Okay, so now we have the last part is to add the pica dressing. Now basically what that's going to be is 4 tablespoons of the dressing right into the bowl. And 4. And mix that all together. And eventually we're going to put it on the wonton cracker. So these are the wontons. And basically you want to let them deep fry. We're going to do one right now. And basically you just want to let them deep fry. Get the oil pretty hot. And then, cook about for a minute, maybe minute and a half. And it'll make about 6, the recipe, but I'm going to make a little extra because I want some more tomorrow. We'll make 3 at a time this time and see what happens. You'll see, they'll get brown. You can see they're getting a nice brown color now. Those will be done in just a second. You can usually tell when it's really nice and brown and when it's done bubbling. Alright, so we're taking the last one out of the oil. I know, for effect. And bam. So after your wontons are done, here they are. Basically, you just want to plate it up with the tuna pica. And we're going to show you how to do that. Alright, so now that we got that all done, we have our wonton crackers. What we're going to do is, we're just going to plate them up. Let's start plating up. Oh man. Now whatever falls off, you can put it right back on. That's how amazing it's going to be. Okay, tuna. Bam. Oh my god. This is going to be so good. Alright, that's one. Make sure I save some for me. Okay, now don't push down too hard. Bam, and that's going to be, and that's how basically it is, baby. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, that is your tuna pica. Delish.